All right, do we have sound now? I'm waiting for some feedback on that, and then I'll have to start over. All right. I thought I had my microphone all figured out. So if someone can tell me if we've got sound, that will be fantastic, and I'll start over. Okay. Do we have sound? I'll just keep talking till someone tells me if we've got sound. I'm sorry that we didn't. Well, Miss Adelaide, hello. And Miss Danette is here while I'm waiting, and Miss Deborah and Miss Cheryl. All right. We got sound. Okay. So my expensive one, it worked in a test. I tested it this afternoon and everything worked really well. So there we go. All right. How about we start over? I've got this started in the other places. So what I have for you this evening is a fun fold card. And so you're going to be able to create a stunning roses cards without the fuss. And this is my stamp set, and I'll explain that in just a minute. All right, Miss Cindy. Well, that's one way to get comments, right? For you not to have any sound. I'm telling you, that's frustrating because I worked on that a lot this afternoon. But you know what? We're back in business, and life is good. And so let me introduce myself now that you can hear me. I'm Shelley Godby, and for 23 years, I've been teaching you how to create hand-stamped smiles through my YouTube videos, my Stamping Smiles blog, and my mailing list. And so let's have a closer look at my gorgeous Layers of Beauty stamp set. And I'm trying a new service this evening, so hopefully things go smoothly. So the Layers of Beauty stamp set. Gorgeous. Well, and I claim this as mine because it is. When a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator reaches 1 million in career sales, and I have to have a little disclaimer I need to add, but I'll just say it, less than 0.002% of demonstrators ever reach that. So it's not the norm, but it's very special when you do, and you get to take part in designing a stamp set, and my name is on this in the catalog. Oh, Miss Cindy loves my stamp set. I do too. And there are dies with this and decorative masks. I'm doing something this evening I haven't done before, and I'll show you again while it was silent. The first cards I made with it, I used the decorative masks, and roses are my favorite flowers ever, and pink roses in particular. So I kept doing everything in pink because, that's what I love. And I said, I'm going to, and then here's the last one, just using the decorative masks. And this evening, I'm going to color with the Stampin' Blends. And I did a card. Oh, I thought I had it out here. Yes, with the Country Flowers. I believe I have it here. The Country Flowers, this was a live video, were stamped right on the designer series paper. Oh, thank you, Miss Deborah. She's saying congrats. Stamped right on the designer series paper and colored over it. And after I did that, I've been really thinking about it. I thought, I wonder if I could do that with my Layers of Beauty, because you all really enjoyed that other card. And so, okay, we're going to give that a try. And what I chose it was going to be really natural to do the Country Woods. And when I was designing this, that was temporarily unavailable. It could still be back this week. So I chose the Country Lace Designer Series paper. Here we go. Here are the patterns. And just really sharp. It's with the sweet, with this birdhouse. And so I did this birdhouse cow with you all too. And that's that Country Lace. Demonstrated that, and that went over really well. And so I thought I would use this pattern, and I was looking through, and so let me show you, because we have side A and side B. And then I thought, this pattern, can you see it? It's pretty light. And I tried it, and it just wasn't, it's so faded. It didn't have that same impact. And then I tried this because I think gray is really pretty. And it was pretty, but it just wasn't all that I hoped for. So, and when I turned it over, because I did try this, and I turned it over, I thought, ooh. And so I decided to try this, and I really liked it. And actually, it reminds me of wallpaper when we're done. But anyway, so this is the Country Lace Designer Series paper. Now this is 15% off while supplies last. I'll give you fair warning, it's in low inventory. And so it probably won't last till August 31st. I mean, it could. So if you're liking this, get on over now to my online store. Well, maybe wait for after the video. Get on over to my online store after the video, and which is www.shopwithshelly.com, and order this. Okay, so let me put that aside. And so someone just said, yes, Miss Bonnie B, please like, share, and comment on my video. And if you aren't a subscriber yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. You'll get a notification when I'm going live. And you can count on me going live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And then sometimes I pop in. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to die cut using the Deckled Circles dies. Now, these are an online exclusives. There we go. And so if you're not seeing the catalog, I have a link under my video to the online exclusives, because if you're not checking that category out, you could be missing quite a few things. And so what I do, let me quickly tell you, as I do every time I use dies, I store mine on a magnetic card from Stampin Storage, a different company from Stampin' Up, but they have products to keep us, our stamping supplies, so very well organized, and your rooms, you can deck them out like crazy for your cardstock and everything else. And look how super strong. They aren't going to fall off. And then I go ahead and tuck it into one of these sleeves. No, pocket. I made that mistake. Don't order the sleeves for this. They're for something else. If you're wanting to do this, make sure you order the pockets and follow those links that I have under the video so you make sure you're ordering the right thing. All right. So let me grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And here that is. And I'm finding I think I do better if I get that handle out of the way. We don't have as many focus problems. All right. So there are two ways of doing this. I could use plate number 1 and plate number 2 that come with the purchase of a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But instead, I really prefer using a magnetic platform because it's holding these metal dies in place for me with all these magnets. And this is a separate purchase that I picked up on Amazon, and I've got a link to that. And it makes me a better die cutter. I'll say not a perfect one, but definitely a better die cutter. So regardless if you use this, which is the appropriate thickness, or plate number 1 and plate number 2, you need a plate 3, a cutting plate. And then let me grab. So we're going to stamp and color right on the Designer Series paper. All right. And so I need, it's the 6th one. Yeah, that looks right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. and so the cutting edge, that rough edge, that's the cutting edge. We place that down. And look, now it's holding it in place for me. I'm not so concerned about it scooting while I'm trying to die cut. So I need another plate number 3. But regardless of the magnetic platform holding in place, go ahead and place the cutting plate on top. You don't want to scoot it on and possibly, make the whole thing scoot. So I'm going to crank this through. And I'm coming back. I don't need to come back. It doesn't need 2 passes through. It's out of the camera shot. Okay. And so then we have our circle with a deckled edge, which is really cool. Now, for the card I'm doing, it needs some support. So I'm going to do that again. And I'm going to support it with some cherry cobbler cardstock and do the same thing. Crank that through, and then we'll be ready to move on. So I'm hoping this is streaming to a couple other platforms. It was going to Facebook until I think in July, and that stopped, and I just discovered that a few weeks ago. So I thought, okay, I'm going to try a different piece. And then I wasn't able to stream into my group for my downline, the Scattered Stampers, and hopefully that's working now too. I'll find out after the video. All right, so I'm going to set this aside. We need this. But how about we go ahead and cut our card base, which is different tonight. And I'm going to use cherry cobbler cardstock. And let's go ahead and cut it. And I have my paper trimmer here. And so I can cut 12 by 12, actually bigger than 12 by 12 cardstock with this. And it has 2 blades. Here's the cutting, here's the scoring. So like I said, this is different, but you know what? On Wednesday, tomorrow, if you're watching live on Tuesday evening, Wednesday by the afternoon, I'll have a link to my blog post in the description on YouTube. And if I think of it, I'll do it on Facebook. A link to my blog post that'll have all the measurements and a PDF with a picture of the card, the measurements, and the card sketch that you can download, print, and save. So I want to cut. So that's the darker one. And so the base of this is 8.5 by 4 1/4. So very, very different. So this is 8.5 long. So the 4 1/4, here's the 4, here's the 5. That longest line between the 2 whole numbers is the halfway mark. The line, the second longest line is halfway between the whole number and the half. Well, that's the 1/4. So let's place this on that 4 1/4. All right, and it's on that line, not next to it, and you can follow it all the way down. Make sure it's squared up, butt up against this edge. Okay, butt it up against there. That really helps you square it up. Visually follow it all the way down, and then cut. So you'll still be able to get 2 card bases out of this, and you'll have some left over for something else. Now I'm going to go ahead and score this in half, which will be the same 4 1/4. So we're placing it on that second longest line. It's butted up against here. And you know what? I'm going to pick this up because I don't want to cut it. Now I need the scoring blade. And I'm going to just go over that. And now I've got, you can see that, right? That creates a crease, that score line. It's a crease so I can fold my cardstock, whoops, without it getting all crinkly. It's not a good look. So the fold, we'll do this. I always used to go with it instead of against it, but a friend was telling me, no, that's not how you do it. And then I've noticed when Stampin' Up! Has packaging, that's exactly how they do it. And so finish it with a bone folder. All right, so we've got our card base done. We have the support for this. And so now some stamping. And for that, I have my, whoops, I don't know what just went. Hopefully I won't need it. My big gorgeous stamp. It is on this big clear block. And this is an F. And oh, make sure you stick around to the end, because with this card sketch, I did 2 more and they're all very different from each other. So whenever the stamp is bigger than my ink pad, in my ink pad, I'm going to use the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. I put the stamp rubber side up and take the pad to it instead of the stamp to the ink pad. All right, so let's ink this all up. I won't be getting all of it, but it's just easier. So whenever I rotate it to the way I want it, I'll know that I have it. All right, that was probably a little overkill, but that's okay. All right, so let's turn this over. And now a lot of times I love circles because I can just rotate, but in this case, I do have a particular way I want this to come out. So I want to catch all 3 of the gorgeous roses. And look, we're going to do that and get some of the daisies and then press everywhere. So fantastic. All right, so while I'm sitting here doing this, bonus days coupons. They are, you need to use them. If you earned them in July, go and spend them. And there's a note on that. They should be good through August 31st, but Stampin' Up! Has warned us some were accidentally set to be good only through Friday, August 30th. So if you're a last minute person, don't do it. Not this time. All right. This time, go ahead and get that order placed by Friday. Oh, Miss Joyce is here. I haven't seen her here in a long time. This is cool. All right, so what I have here is some Smoky Slate cardstock, and that is Smoky Slate to go with that. And then the greeting is from my gorgeous Layers of Beauty. And you make my heart smile. That's my greeting. I was able to change that, as well as this was Get Well. I asked if we could change that to God Bless, and that was in honor of my husband, who is now with the Lord. And he God blessed everybody. And I thought, oh, and it was, it's about the same amount of letters. It wouldn't take up much room, and more versatile, right? More versatile than Get Well. Not that I have a problem with Get Well, but it was really cool to be able to include him. All right, so I'm back with the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. And so if you're just joining us and you miss me say it, please like, share, and comment on my video. And if you aren't a subscriber yet, well, hit that subscribe button so then you'll get a notification when I'm doing a live video. All right, so got this inked. I want this in the center. Being that it's photopolymer clear, I should do a good job, but that's not a guarantee. Okay, yay. I did have one stamped in case I messed up. I think I know when it went flying. All right, so we've got our stamping done. So see, this is a card without the fuss. Now, for me looking at this is easy. Oh, Miss Jeanette. All right, checking in. In person, I can see this. For you, yeah, that's a little different on the screen. So let's go ahead and start coloring. And I thought about the decorative masks, with the ink. I didn't try it, but I just don't believe we would get the color saturation that we needed. So instead, I'm going to use Stampin' blends. And I am crazy about the mask because look, the shading that they do, wow. I don't have to think about it. It just does it for us, but that's okay. Oh, Miss here, let's see. Can I do that? All right. Did that show? Fantastic. And for those of you that are new tonight, I'm trying a different streaming software, so we'll see. All right, so what I have here is Shaded Spruce. And I'll have to tell you, the first color I tried was Real Red, and then I had grabbed the Shaded Spruce, and I thought, boy, I hope this doesn't look like Christmas. And then I decided to go to Cherry Cobbler. It was just really rich. So let's go ahead. And I'm using the bullet point because this is a small area. All right, so the bonus days coupons, let's just pretend, so we're not caught unawares, that they're good through August 30th. I mean, chances are yours are good through the 31st, but why risk it? And Stamp It Up warning. And I'm getting that word out. So here we go. And now, as tempting as it is that you'll want to just go ahead and do all of the green at one time, because it is tempting. If you want your colors to blend, go ahead and do things while it's still wet. And so what I have here is the dark, and I'm not doing any kind of fancy shading. I'm just following the stem leaves that they gave us. Okay. And so then I'll stay with the bullet. Here we go. Ooh, did not. All right. Catch that, catch that. I got a little crazy there. All right. And so that's the Shaded Spruce. And then these daisies, I could do black, but I chose instead, I'm using the dark Smoky Slate. That's a good color because the black, especially the dark black, it is opaque. And I do want the lines to come through if at all possible. And then for the daisies, I'm using Flirty Flamingo. I'm sure there are pink daisies, right? Oh, and Miss Carla is checking in. Fantastic. And if I missed any of you, I apologize. We started off with some audio issues. I thought I had them all worked out. I did a test this afternoon and everything was working beautifully. And then I get here, and I tested it with this software and no sound. So I don't know. All right. So, and I hope you enjoyed this card too. I liked that, some of this peeked through, but then it was just surrounded by it. And I thought, well, why we could just die cut, right? But you know what? Die cutting leaves a white border around it, which normally I like that look, but this I wanted seamless with the designer series paper, the scrapbook paper. All right. And so then I've got the cherry cobbler. And I'm going to outline this. And I was sitting there thinking about that, with a lot of other mediums, if I had outlined first and then start coloring in, you would have that outline. Where with the Stampin' blends, these are alcohol markers in Stampin' Up! Exclusive colors, the colors just still blend. You won't see this outline that I'm doing. Let me turn. And the stamping blends, I have zero training with these. And, there are people who just really know what they're doing. I'm not saying I'm one of them, but still, they just make me look good. You don't have the lines. It's easy to shade. Okay. Let's color this in. I'm wanting to get away from the edge. So I'm a little excitable tonight with that sound not working, but hey, it's all good. All right, so let me grab over to this. Oh, Miss Paulette is checking in. And there, this will be quicker. Okay, I better calm myself down and go back to the bullet. Because if I go outside, that won't be the look I want. Okay. And see, look, connecting that. Now that's starting to come out better for you, right? Fantastic. All right, so that's wet. So let's keep moving along. I like to put the cap on so it doesn't go rolling away. I don't lose it or anything. So now the shading, the petals, that's on top of this one. That's going to create a shadow though. So I do sit there and think about it, what would be natural. And this is the dark over the light. Now, if I wanted something more subtle, I could do the light over top of the light, just keep layering color, and it does get deeper. All right. There. And that is how we color, and that's all of the colors that I'm using. Miss Sherrill, no, they are not refillable. So because I knew that would just, once I showed you how to color, I figured you didn't need to sit there and watch me do that over and over and over. And there it is done. And does this not look like wallpaper? It's just so elegant. I really like it. And so for this, it needs strength because, I want to put it on dimensionals, but it just needs strength. So I was going to cut this, the next size down, but I really need it behind there. And you'll see as I finish this. And I was earlier trying to just go crazy, lining that back up. I mean, these little edges are it's like, you know what? It's fine. I'm not going to if you want to. So instead I'm going to use this Stampin' Snail, put my finger where it's a little opaque. Really like this stuff. And we'll take the time to be neat. and get this on here. Whoops. Oh, and talking about designer series paper, I am having designer series paper share and accessories if you want to upgrade it to that for the September through December 2024 Stampin' Up! Mini catalog. And there's a link under the video to that. Okay, that's looking really good. Okay, fantastic. And once I'm pleased, then I press down. All right, so then this is our card base. Now this part is really important. We need an envelope. This is our basic white medium envelopes. And wow, you can stamp on these because it has that same smooth, tight finish for crisp, clean images that the Stampin' Up! Basic white cardstock has. And that's really important when you're stamping. You want a good image, and they feel so good. Oh my goodness. And I tell you, the envelope is the first impression when you give a card. When you have a beautiful envelope, people can just tell quality. It is worth it. I highly recommend this and use them all the time, and always put it in the description. So now this, I want to make sure my stripes are going up and down. So I've got two choices, like this or like this, but I'm choosing like this. So we're using the envelope to make sure we don't go too far off that edge. All right. And so then that helps me. I can just turn it over like this. And I decided to have it the same color as the card base. And so it'll look nice from the other side. So let's leave that there. And now I know where my placement for the Stampin' Dimensionals, because I don't want to go over top. It'll be sticking to my envelope. And Stampin' Dimensionals, my favorite adhesive ever, these foam adhesive dots. Oh, Miss Danette, thank you. Let's see. Let me slow down for a second. There we go. Yeah, well, thank you. And so this shows us, like I said, we can see the placement. Because earlier, as I was playing with this, doing the 3 different designs, I was kind of doing it blind. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't need to do that blind and guess at it and hope I don't go too high. So there we go. Give that some good support, because it'll be part of the card. It won't have the full support of the card base. So I'm pressing down with my thumbnail, which makes that edge pop up. There we go. And that makes it really easy to take off. Okay, so that one was already coming up. All right, so again, I'm looking for that. This one's more particular than most because I definitely want it straight up and down. We're using our envelope as our guide. And of course, we want to go even from side to side. Now, again, I don't press till I'm happy. It's like, okay, that's looking good. Now I can press. Nothing peeking out. Fantastic. And then you make my heart smile. Back with the Stampin' Seal. Now this is a really good adhesive when everything's laying good and flat. And everything I've done today is flat. There wasn't a texture to it from embossing or anything holding it up because, there's ribbon or another embellishment behind it. And this I designed goes edge to edge. And I think went flying were my paper snips, but I can always grab another pair. So I have a lot of these on hand. And I had these here because, I'm doing the cutting, and that doesn't mean I'm going to cut perfectly every time. So I like to turn it over. See that overage? That's not a good look. But if I turn it over, this gives me a nice straight edge to put my paper snips along, and I get a straight cut. When I was a new stamper, I'd do it from the front, and oh my goodness, I did not do a good job. I ended up cutting the cardstock, and so that trick works beautifully. So now let's finish it with, and they're here somewhere. Oh, here we go. We've got some embellishments, and I thought, ooh, the elegance of these iridescent pearls, basic jewels. And for that, I'm going to apply those with, use my take your pick tool with the spatula for that. Miss Roxanne, oh yeah, power outage. You know what? My power flickered, but I lost the internet for a while this afternoon. I thought, wonder if I'll be going live. All right, so these come in 2 different sizes. They're all the same color, pearl colored. But I press down on them so the adhesive is sticking to the embellishment, and because sometimes it stays on there. So once I started doing that, and let's come up over here. There we go with a large one. Let's grab a small one. Okay, does anyone else have to find themselves, you just need to go in rows? You can't just go all over the place? Yeah, I've got some issues. All right. And here, and a small one. And so Grandma always said you do things in odd numbers. So 1, 3, 5. And 3 didn't seem enough for this card. All right. And this is another thing I don't press until I'm happy, with the placement. And one more of the larger size. And there we go. A fun fold card. Stunning roses without the fuss. Fantastic. All right. I'm so glad you all joined me, and it fits in our envelope. Life is good. And so that is my gorgeous, gorgeous layers of beauty. Oh, thank you, Miss Cindy. My gorgeous, gorgeous layers of beauty stamp set, which of course is available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. And wow, look how big you can do circles. That was the 6th largest. So we can go even further. It is wonderful. Oh, Miss Roxanne, well, thank you. Oh, you all are so sweet. Okay. All right, so I promised to show you some other ones that I made, and I am excited to do that. So let's see. The next one I did, I used the Fragrant Forest, this background stamp. Oh, Miss Molly's here. I believe this is the first time she's joined us live, or at least live and commented. Well, welcome. So I used the Fragrant Forest background stamp and for this fun fold card. And here we go. Didn't that turn out cool? So that was super easy too. And so I stamped on the base, the trees in here, and then I added a tree, and this is from the Forever Forest Eyes, this nice big one. I added that. And so these cards, I'll be posting later this week, and I'll have all the ingredients to do those. And the happy birthday is from the Simply Said stamp set. All right, so Fragrant Forest. Very pleased with that. See, very, very different, same template. And then the third one I did, this is with the Painted Lavender 12 by 12 designer street paper, on sale right now through August 31st in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. 15% off. And instead of a solid card base, I used another pattern, and even a pattern for that You Make My Heart Smile. And cute. So all very different, using that same card sketch, which of course tomorrow, if you're watching live on Tuesday evening, tomorrow being Wednesday afternoon, I'll have a link to my blog post, if you're watching on YouTube, that will have this card with the measurements and a PDF that you can download, print, and save with the picture of the card, the measurements, and the card sketch to make it easier to do even more later. So there we go. Oh, Miss Bonnie. She says she's a purple girl, and yeah, that painted lavender is amazing. All right. So, Miss Cheryl, cannot wait to get, okay, all the measurements. Yep. Wednesday afternoon, I will have that for you. And I bet your mind's already going, it's like, all the different stamps you could use with this, or designer series paper. I mean, here I use the designer series paper for the background, and I just love that. And in this, I felt like I was just creating my own with that big background stamp. And this, a lot of our Stampin' Up! Papers are so gorgeous, they can be the whole focal point. So there we go. Oh, Miss Jeanette, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So did I remember everything? I told you about the bonus days coupons may be expiring on the 30th, or, that'll be the last day for some. So like I said, don't risk it. My paper share. And that is a fantastic way to get a generous portion of all of the designer series paper. There's an exception. There's a link, just one. There's a link to my blog post to where you can go see everything that's included and find out how to reserve your share. And then you can upgrade it to all the accessories. And of course, oh my goodness, the accessories are fabulous. So there's a link to that. So that's the DSPN, the designer series paper sale. I think that was the big things that I wanted to remind you about this evening, as well as sharing with you my fun fold card, a DIY stunning roses card that really was no fuss at all. Oh my, okay, so I don't see any more comments, and hopefully everything went well, other than the sound, but we fixed that, and I sure appreciate those of you that let me know pretty quickly. I really do appreciate that, and we'll work on it again for the next time, see if I can get that worked out. I'm stumped. So this is the time where I say, okay, sorry about that, Miss Marcia. This is the time where I say, thank you for joining me. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand-stamped smiles. Good evening, and God bless.